Hey, friends. I should say, hey, nobody, because I know there's nobody there already, which is good. When I do a live stream, it would be awkward to jump on here and have like 20 people watching. So I figured I'd just start it now and start talking about psychedelics. A lot of people have asked me about LSD, MDMA, DMT, psilocybin, and let's just say that these are extremely difficult things to talk about. Hi, Ryan. How you doing, man? Um, Talking about psychedelics puts you in a category where people assume that you are consuming substances that are going to be dangerous. Um, Let me say, when I grew up, people would talk about psychedelics as if you take LSD once, you're going to jump out of a window. It's like you're going to kill yourself, and it's really an absurd idea. But naturally, people have done it. But then again, people have blown their brains out on alcohol too. Not to sound, blunt, but the experiences that I've had on mushrooms, the experiences that I've had on LSD have been so revelatory to me that I can't help but share these things with people. But I also know that I've seen people lose their minds and completely forget who they are on, yeah, a 5 gram dose of mushrooms. And when you have taken 5 grams of mushrooms and somebody you're with forgets who they are, it's very hard to babysit and take care of them. Which is why when I do talk about psychedelics, I always say, if you don't know what you're doing, have a sitter. And a sitter is somebody who can hang out with you and monitor you and make sure that you don't walk out of the room and wander off and call the police or something. Which I've had people. It's interesting when people are in a psychedelic mindset, they tend to say things like, oh, we should call the police or the fire department. Like they don't know what to do, and your subconscious comes out and your subconscious tells you that you need help from someone, which isn't always true, because if you call somebody else for help when you're tripping on acid, I guarantee you won't get any help. You'll just get put in a white room. So tonight I'm going to talk about psychedelics, and I'm going to talk about an experience I had when I was younger. So to start out, kind of warm me up. When I was about 16 years old, my friend got a hold of some acid. We went to Portland and we got this acid called Smileys, is what they called it. It had little smileys on it. Not smiley faces like yellow ones. I don't even recall. Maybe they were yellow smiley faces. But 5 hours this time? No. No. I don't even think I can endure for an hour. But I'm going to try here. Um, I'll run out of stories before then. When I was about 16, I ran into, we discovered LSD. We could buy it in Portland. Met this dude randomly on a street corner, bought some, came home, took it, tripped all night, went down to the bridge, and I had this major awakening experience where I climbed up on top of a train trestle, and I've already told that story, so I'm not going to tell it again. But it wasn't too much longer where a friend of ours at school gave my buddy a quarter sheet of acid for his birthday, his 16th birthday. And so he was just giving out acid left and right. And we each took, like, I don't remember. We must have taken between 3, 4, 5, 6 hits each, depending on who we were. And I think my friend took a little too much. And that night we're all hanging out at my garage hole, which is what I called it. It was a separated garage from the house. It was like a small 2-car garage, but we'd separated it from the front and back. So there was a door in the back of the garage that went into this little room that was separated by tarps, spray painted, had all my music and my cassette tapes and my radio and all that stuff. And we'd just hang out and trip all night. And the funniest shit used to happen there taking psychedelics. I mean, it was like we'd have these just weird, odd experiences. But this particular night was a little more crazy. My friend and I got back after taking some down at the park. We got back and he started saying, something's wrong. I don't feel right. I gotta go home. I have to go home. And so I was like, dude, just stay here. You'll be fine. But he insisted on going home. So he goes home. He walks home. It was only like 10 blocks. And then I start worrying because I'm tripping balls and my my garage, just thinking, oh, is he okay? Is he okay? So I call his house to see if he's okay. His mom answers the phone, and I said, oh, hi, Judy. Is Mike there? Shit, I wasn't going to use names. Whatever. She goes, yeah. And I was like, oh, God, something's wrong in my mind. And she goes, he's laying on the couch saying, help, help, I've been drugged. So in his mind, tripping on LSD, he thought I should just say I've been drugged because I don't know what else to do. She's like, I'm thinking about taking him to the hospital. So she takes him to the hospital, and he ends up going to this white room. He told me all about it later. But from my end, I'm tripping on acid, and my best friend's mom just said I'm taking him to the hospital. In my mind, he's going to tell the doctors what happened. They're going to tell the cops what happened. The cops are going to show up at my house. Oh shit, the cops are going to come arrest me. And I'd see sirens. I'd lay back in my bed in the dark and just hope nobody showed up. This wasn't the only time this happened. When I was at a train tunnel one time, we had this party at this abandoned train tunnel. The cops would raid it from both ends. Somehow we got out, ran to the end, and I hid and saw the flashing lights in the tunnel. The cops would literally drive into this tunnel and bust us. And we escaped, of course. We'd always run from the cops. And so the cops show up in this fucking... I sat there for over an hour and a half at the top of this tunnel waiting for the lights to subside. Until finally I was like, dude, we're tripping on acid. There's no way it would take this long for them to arrest all those people. I bet there's no lights. We walked down through, and the fire had been out for like an hour. And sure enough, there's no cops, no nothing. And even somebody left, I think, a half bottle of Yukon Jack there, so and a couple beers, so that worked out. We were kids. We were young. I hung out in Lake Oswego, Oregon. We were kind of the riffraff of the town that the cops would always harass. And but that meant we learned how to run from cops, and especially if you're taking acid, you do not want to get in trouble when you're taking acid. And so I'm starting off with kind of a nostalgic view, because I want to explain where I'm coming from. How eventually, over time, I learned that these aren't just drugs to party on. These are drugs that'll help you. Before I continue any further, I should read some comments and see if anybody has said anything, because I'll get way far behind. Love you, Carpo. Love you too, DB. Always have a co-pilot trip with. Set and setting is important. Yes, there's a book called... it was actually called the Book of the... It's based on the Tibetan Book of the Dead, and it's called The Psychedelic Experience. It's written by, I believe, Timothy Leary and Ralph Metzner, if I'm not mistaken. And I read it when I was like 17. It teaches all about set and setting and how important it is to have somebody with you. Very crucial stuff. Think of it, if you're going to take psychedelics, think of it as a job. You need an education first. You don't just take drugs without knowing what you're doing. If you take psychedelics without knowing what you're supposed to be doing, you're going to be miserable. Or as I say, you're going to have a bad time. And only South Park people would understand that one. Good evening, Jason. Hello. Liquid gel tabs. Oh my God, I have a story about gel tabs. My friend gave me these once. They were these pyramids. The truth is, gel tabs don't really mean anything with acid, because the truth is, you wouldn't need the amount that would fit in a gel. They would put it in a gel, but you're talking about micrograms, which are like, not even milligrams, but like a tenth of a milligram. So there's tiny amounts, but they would put them in gel tabs, and they were easier, and they dissolve into your tongue. I was coming back from a Grateful Dead show in California. I took my Volkswagen bus down there, like 93. And I'm coming back, and this guy, like, we picked up these two hitchhikers in North Redding, or out of Weed, California there. And they're like, yeah, man, yeah, we're heading up to Oregon. I'm like, hey, hop in. I had a 78 Volkswagen bus, orange, with tinted windows, pull-out Z-bed, nice stereo, everything. So we hop in, and we start cruising. And he's like, hey, man, I got some gel tabs. And he's got a whole film container full of these things. And so we're like, sure, we all took some. It's like a half an hour later, we're cruising up this hill. And my bus is going really slow. It's a Volkswagen. It's an 1850, which is a good engine, but it's still going about 40, 45, 50. And I start going, oh my God, what's wrong with my bus? And I start panicking. It wasn't until like 5-10 minutes later where I realized I'm going uphill, and I was starting to trip. and our goal was to make it. I never take psychedelics while driving, so please respect psychedelics and don't think this is an invitation to do that. Don't ever take psychedelics if you're going to drive. I was young, I was dumb. 16, 17. Okay, I was 18. But we were trying to get up the hill to the top of Mount Shasta to this campground where they were going to have a fireworks show because it was the 4th of July. And we could see the fireworks coming up over the hill, but we were starting to trip and it was too late. We pulled in, ended up just sleeping on the side. Missed the fireworks show, but we had kind of our own fireworks show. Let's just say it was great. Yeah, it was a hi Judy. Is this Mike there? Yeah, that's window pane was the best. Well, it depends on the quality of the window pane. Window pane was just 4 hits of acid in one, but yeah, generally window pane is usually quality. Yukon Jack is syrup. Yep, ugh, it was disgusting. But when you're 16, it's great. Not a tenth. 1 milligram is 1,000 micrograms. Yeah, I know that. That's why I said that it was 1/10, because I'm talking about 100 micrograms. I'm talking about a dose of psychedelics. I'm not talking about what is 1/1000th. I'm saying we would take, on average, at least 100 microgram dose. I would take up to like 700-800 mics, which was close to a milligram. But yeah, I know my dosages, bro. No offense. Acid is crazy, though. Yeah, it really is. I mean, fuck. What year was it, Frank? Let's see. The first time I took acid was 91, I think. 92, maybe. I think it was about 16. It was about 91. And we tripped pretty fucking hard. Let me just say, I've taken the acid that people sell these days, and it's garbage. I mean, I've had to take like 5 hits just to get what I would get from like 1 or 2 back then. I'm going to tell you another story. One time when I was about 19, 20, I had this friend. He was the inspiration. I should say his name was Troy, I think. He was a douchebag. He worked at 7-Eleven, and he was really a loser. And he had this tattoo on his hand. It was fear, I think. And my friend Mike and I said we should tattoo our hands to be cool. What should we do? And we agreed on hate. He has the same tattoo. Now, mind you, this is almost 30 years ago that we did this. We were like 15, 16. I tattooed hate with a spider web because he had a spider web. I found out it's like a prison tattoo thing. He changed his. It doesn't say hate. It says, we joke around, it's Spider A Mountain Mushroom 8, because he tattooed over his to try to hide it, but it just made it look worse, in my opinion. I own my hate, because my dad had just died when I tattooed this on my hand, and, you know, it was a crazy time. Anyway, the guy sold me some acid, and he goes, hey, it's called Felix. Don't take more than 1. I said, how much does it cost? He's like, 6 for 10. I'm like, come on, 6 for $10? That's like, you know, cheap. There's no way. Was that $1.30 a hit or something? Doesn't matter. Yeah, I was fucking stoked. So I got home, I took 1, waited an hour. Nah, I don't really feel much. Took another 2. Waited another hour. Said, well, I'm starting to get a little buzz. Then I took the other 3. 5 minutes after I took the other 3, the first 3 hit, and I realized I had made the biggest mistake of my life. I was in an acid coma that night. I couldn't move. It's really important not to overdose and take more than you should. That's all I could say. I took 6 hits of some of the strongest acid. I've taken 10 strips of shit. And it was nothing compared to those 6 hits. It really messed me up. Your stream has a latency of time? Maybe. I'm just reading the comments as quickly as I can here. Shrooms versus acid? I like shrooms better, but acid's better when you're dancing. How did you do the tattoo? Homemade rig. Yeah, stick and poke, my friend. Prison style. With an actual needle. Just burn it with a little bit of cordage wrapped around it. Dip it in ink and then kind of just tattoo away. Dip them, stick and poke, stick and poke, stick and poke. It was brutal. I mean, we were taking all kinds of shit back then. Dilaudid while we were doing tattoos. I've got them all over my leg. They're all hand done. No guns. 4 or 5 year old hitchhiker with gel tabs. Well, shrooms. Peace, Ryan. Haha, bro. Do you believe in love at first sight? No. I mean, I don't know what that means, really. I believe in lust at first sight, but I've been with my wife for 23 years, so it's hard to remember. Test first, folks. Thank you, Britt. Thank you for bringing that up. I need to point that out. Always test your psychedelics. There are test kits available. We did not have that when I was young. And now you can buy something like N-Bome, thinking it's LSD. N-B-O-M-E. N-Bome is well known in the psychedelic community. It's something you don't want. You generally won't run into it. But you can get cathinones instead of MDMA. MDMA is a very crucial... MDMA is a special thing to me. And I'll talk about that later, but I'm not going to get into that yet. I'm still in the acids phase here. Carpo, what's up, man? Hey, Meridian Heights, how are you doing? Acid coma is real. I trust that of what you said. Yeah, I've been there. It sucks. What's your thoughts on SAS or MDA? Okay. Sorry, I got a cough because I got phlegm here. That sounds really horrible. I think it's because of my vaping, and it's only because I just started talking for the first time. I was hanging out with my friend tonight, my buddy Joel. He came by. He's a trucker, and he does various runs with his, as a truck driver. He said he's in town for a few hours, so he came by. We sat and talked. I was going to do a podcast with him, but we ended up just talking. And I had my recorder going, though, most of the time, so I'm going to actually upload that as a podcast. But we talked about everything from, politics to humanity, and those are the things that I want to start sharing. I'd love to do a live cast with him or something. So, Joel, if you're out there, what's up, bro? Thanks for coming by. As for my thoughts on MDA or SAS, first I have to define what that means for people who are novices here. MDA is, let me just say, MDA is similar to MDMA, which is like methyl dioxyl methamphetamine, but that's not the right term. I'm just saying, if that were the term, then it would be like methyl dioxyamphetamine. It's amphetamine instead of methamphetamine, but it's basically the same thing. Taking MDMA gives you feelings of empathy, it gives you feelings of comfort, and basically a serotonin rush. MDA is a little bit different, but not much, but enough to where people definitely notice the difference. But the interesting thing is, it's very difficult to know the difference between MDA and MDMA. Unless the SAS comes in like the powder form, where it smells like licorice. It's more speedy, it's a little bit more psychedelic, and a little bit more gritty. Because MDA makes people grind their teeth, just like LSD can sometimes. Mushrooms don't do that to me, so it's a different story. First LSD for me in 1973. Goddamn Gully Foil, you're that old? You old crusty bastard. I didn't know that. So 1973, that would mean you're probably born in at least 1960. So you're at least 60 years old. So you're an old schooler. Right on. It's weird because I can't tell. I love you all, my subscribers. Honestly, that's not some cheesy bullshit. It's so weird because I don't know how old you are. I don't know who you are. I have some customers that are also subscribers, and then I have some patrons that are subscribers that I don't know the name connect. I'm not very good with that. I'm a human being. I really try. I should say thank you to my patrons. I really appreciate you. I've been trying to list all my patrons on my podcast list, so I can say, hey, these are the people that support my channel, but all of you support in your own way. And I don't want anybody to ever feel like I'm pushing Patreon. I hate Patreon. It's just the only thing that's a good place where I can upload extra content, videos, audio, songs, things like that. So I put some of my music that I record on Patreon because it's so embarrassing. But also as a kind of a bonus for people, just something else. But yeah, whatever, for what it's worth. White Room is real. Yeah, it is. Where do you get the test kits at? You order them online. They're I don't know I can't think of the particular company that makes them right now. If you go to Psych to Substance YouTube channel, he probably has a link to them in his description, but I can share one with you if you email me or let me know later. Okay, B4 Stable says, "Hey Carpo, long time listener here, on and off for over the years." Well, thanks. I appreciate it. I appreciate people that listen to my bullshit. Mushrooms equal to hate, or greater than hate. We need a break sometimes. Yeah, fucking a break from reality. That's for sure. 1953. All right. Well, I was gonna say it was probably before 60 because otherwise you'd be 13 when you tripped. So nice to meet you, goalie. It's nice to know that. What does that make you? 67 something? 68? Right on. Um, Still crazy after all these years. Right on. So am I, and I'm only 45. I'll be 45 in a couple weeks, but I'm still 44 for now. Wait, will I be 45? God, I think so. That hip hop song was dope. Which one, man? I don't know which one. Maybe you were talking about the homeless song or something. I appreciate it. I did it all in one take. I have a dream of making an album, but I'm really lazy about recording. So I'll do a one take with a keyboard. I do all my own drum beats with the keyboard, an 80s keyboard at that. And I just don't really care. I have no shame in uploading shitty music because it's fun to me. I actually enjoy listening to it, so. Linda, what's up? Try childbirth. Back of a school bus. Oh, sister. God damn, that's brutal. You know, I watched a video yesterday of some chick having a fucking child, like right in the seat of her fucking husband's Volvo. It was kind of a viral video where he's trying to get her to the hospital and he just pops right out. And it was like, oh shit, while they're driving. But yeah, in the back of a school bus, that's something totally different. My wife and I wanted to have a natural birth, but unfortunately we have complications and had to have a C-section, which that's not something you need to know, or why am I even telling you that? But because it's life, you know, it's reality. Um, Childbirth is something really intense and complicated. Unfortunately, we have the medicine that we have. As much as I kind of diss big pharma, Western medicine is amazing. Being able to get an epidural when your vagina is trying to push something out it shouldn't push out and your hips are getting ripped apart, no offense, that's brutal, but it's true. You know, thank God for modern medicine sometimes, but some women can handle it better than others, so props to you for having it in a school bus. That's fucking awesome. um, MDMA is a special thing for sure, man. Yes, it is. It is. You know, I'd like to say on this note before I leave talking about MDMA, the magic gets lost. That's something you'll hear if you ever take this stuff. You lose the magic over time. It's true, but only if you abuse it. When people tell you I need a half gram to get high, just don't bother tripping or taking any MDMA with that person. They're taking too much. Let me just tell you, if you want to know more about MDMA, you should listen to the father of MDMA, which is a husband and wife team. He didn't invent it; he just kind of brought it back in. He wrote T-call and P-call, which is tryptamines I have known and love, and phenylalanines I have known and love. Phenylalanines, God, I can't remember. Um, but anyway, Sasha, or God damn it, is known as Sasha, but I'm totally having a brain fart right now. Anyway, him and his wife, until their old years, took psychedelics, and his wife said, "Look, if you," she said she started taking MDMA at like 100 to 200 milligrams every week for a year, and after a year, the magic was gone. If you're going to take MDMA, you want to take, I want to say, 1 milligram per kilogram tops. Okay? Seriously. So I weigh about 80 kilos, right? Is that right? Yeah, about 80 kilos. And I take about 120 milligrams. So I actually take about, what is that? 1.5 milligrams per kilogram, I think. Something like that. Whatever. The point being, you don't want to take large doses. That means like a tenth of a milligram, or 100 milligrams up to like 200 milligrams, depending on the intensity of your experience. But that can be too much. I've never taken more than 150 milligrams. And I didn't take MDMA until my late 30s because I was super cautious, mid 30s, at a regional Burning Man event. And I took it with mushrooms, which is called hippie flipping. And fuck yeah, we had fun. It was a great experience. I love psychedelics. 1980, 40 here. Hey, hey, Hallie. Yeah, being 40 is it's an interesting experience. Uh, I really like the amp and acoustic bass you recently acquired. Have fun with that, buddy. I wrote a song earlier, just quickly on bass, with bass and lyrics, using my little voice recorder, which I use for like everything right here. It's a little Tascam DR05. I love this thing. I can use it for just having in the background while I'm recording this for podcasts or whatever. I plug directly into that with my Shure microphone and SM58 going through my Mackie mixer. Plug right into it and I can record with my microphone and play the bass. That bass sounds better than my other bass, which is it's just a Spectre bass that I bought when I was in my band with my brother. And we've uploaded like 2 albums to YouTube and SoundCloud, but actually 3 or 4 if you count First in Line, which was like our punk band. But you know, you listen to your old music and you think it's kind of cringy. Some of it's good, but some of it sucks. Yeah, I really like the bass. The thing I was going to say is the acoustic bass plays better than my electric bass, and I think that's fucking awesome. I really, really like it. Oh, this fucking stupid male sweater. By the way, my father passed when I was 15 years old. He died, and this was a mailman. He was a mailman. So I found this the other day at for free. Somebody got it from a storage space, and I've been wearing it ever since because it kind of reminds me of him. 41 here. Let's talk about where we came from. Oh, we'll get there, Linda. We'll get there. Have you ever tried to chew coca leaves? Like cocoa or cacao or coca? So, coca leaves. Do you mean chocolate leaves or do you mean actually cacao leaves or coca leaves? Like, coca is cocaine. And I actually got a kilo from a guy and I've tried chewing it, but if you want to get good coca leaves, you have to get them fresh. But it's hard for me to make that assumption that you're talking about cocaine. Have you listened to Goose? I don't know, Britt. Is Goose a musician or a YouTuber? I don't know. I probably not. I don't know. Can we collab on a song? Let me tell you this. I'm going to be honest. I've had 3 people recently ask me to collaborate on a song. There's a guy named Frank. He has a great YouTube channel. He does live casts all the time. It's always inspiring. He's a younger dude. And I've talked to a few people who want to collaborate and write a song. The truth is, I have a 25-year-old son who lives with me who is a phenomenal fucking guitarist. Blows me out of the water. He just solos like crazy. Taught him a few things when he was younger and he just took off. And he's been wanting to write music with me forever. If I were to write songs and collaborate with somebody else and not my own son, he would just be like, It's not because of that I won't. It's because I'm not motivated to write music with other people. I have a hard time jamming with people from afar. If I'm in person and I'm right there jamming with somebody, it's different. But collaborating is weird to me. I don't know. I might be up for it. I really don't know. I'd have to think about it, and you'd have to let me know exactly what you mean. Hey, Josh from Hi. How you doing? I wish I could look at... Oh, I can even zoom in here? Not that I want to on myself. I wanted to zoom in on what the hell? The names of the people so I could see what it says. Hi, Carpo. Nice to see you. Hi, Nisa. Or is it Nissa? Either way, hi. Andre says, yeah, the homeless song. Yeah, I enjoyed that one. It was fun. Coca, I mean. Yeah, coca. I've chewed coca. It's interesting, but... MDMA, the best for a show. Let me just tell you this about MDMA for concerts. If I take MDMA at a show, I'm laying there like a goddamn zombie and I can't move. I melt into a puddle. Hopefully a cuddle puddle with my wife, but not always. Sometimes I just melt into whatever grass thing. I remember literally rolling down a hill in a golf course with my wife and my best friends, like when we were in California at the Fare Thee Well show for the Dead in like 2015. Rolling down this golf course hill, with helicopters flying overhead, shining their spotlights on us, telling us, "Get out now! Get out now! You must leave! The show is over!" I mean, they were doing that as soon as the show ended. And it was pretty damn humorous. I had a good time. But MDMA can make you just not give a shit about anything. If you're a person who's uptight about everything when you go out and you're worried about what people think, especially with women, and not to be, have it sex related, but women can really let go on MDMA. It definitely affects women differently than men. There's no way around it. I don't care. Women and men have different hormones, different levels of cortisol, different levels of oxytocin and serotonin, and overall, most women really can let go if they're tense when they take MDMA. My wife just loves to just have a good time. She doesn't give a shit what anybody thinks. And I'm the same way, because I usually don't already, but sometimes you care about what society thinks to an extent, and then at a point you kind of let go, maybe even too far. But psychedelics allow us to let go of that. I'm back of a school bus, damn. Where are we at here? T-call. Have you ever cheated on anyone you've dated? What the fuck kind of question is that? That's hilarious. I don't date anyone. I've been with my wife for 23 years. Carpo, I ordered Kratom, bro. Is it possible? What do you mean? Well, I have Kratom on my website, but I'm not really very fast at dealing with it. I'll be brutally honest. When you have to send a check through the mail, when the check comes, I send it out. But if you're patient, I'm trying to keep good Kratom in stock. But yeah, Kratom's possible. Yo, Spooky. Hey, 50 here. Damn, thanks for all the Kratom info. Thinking about ayahuasca, but don't know if it's going to help me. Yeah, that's a tough one. I don't either, and I've never taken ayahuasca. I can take pharmahuasca, which is, you don't have to take all the bullshit. You can just take basically DMT with an MAOI. DMT MAOI. Dimethyltryptamine along with a monoamine oxidase inhibitor, which means that the monoamine oxidase is something your own gut produces, your own body. A monoamine oxidase inhibitor inhibits that monoamine oxidase from breaking down the DMT or dimethyltryptamine within your gut and your body. God damn, I'm science fucking whiz. No, but really, it stops the DMT and allows it from breaking down, allows it to enter your bloodstream, but it's very limited. But the MAOI can allow it to remain for a lot longer, but you might vomit like a motherfucker. And the thing is, be careful with MAOIs. You can take like harmaline or harmala seeds, which is a natural MAOI, but it can also mean that if you eat other foods in that time, your body won't break down other chemicals that might be damaging to you. So you have to be very, very, very careful. Astrology Eastern. Oh, you're asking Andre. Okay. Carpo, I'm drinking bourbon. Well, good, Phil. I'm glad to hear it. I'm not. I don't have any. I kind of wish I did. What's Eastern astrology? Hey, if y'all want to talk about astrology, shit. It's funny, my son believes it, but I don't. Politically, we have our differences, but I love you, bro. Well, thanks, Phil. I love you, too. If there's anything I'd love to do in life is bridge the gap between people who have different opinions. It sounds stupid. It sounds ridiculous. Sometimes I come across as a prick when I'm making a video or answering comments because it's like difficult to gauge intent and intention. And I've met so many assholes over my life that, I really just don't have very much patience for people's bullshit. And anybody who knows me in my personal life knows that I really don't tolerate crap. I tell it like it is, and if you don't like it, tough fucking shit. So YouTube's been an interesting experience because I'm really overly patient with people on YouTube, but it's because I want to learn from other people and understand where we're all coming from, and hopefully agree on some points. Have a beer together and talk about fucking psychoactive plants, which this book is one of my subscribers, one of you all sent me this, ordered it for me on the same day that I was getting ready to order it for myself. It was a really amazing, weird coincidence. I don't believe in chance. Everything is what it is. It's pretty cool. Because that show is Excision, right? Shoot, I missed where we're at here. No, I've been to Excision a couple times. I love Excision. This bass sounds like my fam. Maybe men can never truly let go. Mic drop. Men. I actually uploaded a podcast today about men's rights movement, the red pill, and all that stuff. And I was really reluctant because it was several months old. And I really don't like bringing up controversy, but I think a lot of men need to fucking man up and start being men, not being weenies. Because some of the guys who come across as being the toughest guys are some of the biggest pussies that I've ever met in my life. I'll just leave it at that. You know, the big truck guy. Where's the super chats, Phil? Super chat is where like you donate money for people. I don't know how that works. I think you have to have AdSense enabled in order to do super chat. If people want to send me money, you're welcome to, but I don't know how to do the super chat thing. I think it'd be really cool to be able to get donations that way. You can always send me money through PayPal if you really want to donate. I'll, just let me know and I'll send you the info. My PayPal got terminated because they don't allow Kratom sales. So I was using it for my business and they held my funds for like 6 months. So I've been borrowing my wife's account to like pay for certain things and use it for Patreon. So I can't use it for anything else except like donations. So I'm afraid if I ever post it as like an option for donations, people will think, oh, you just want money. But also that people will say, oh, I'll just pay for a Kratom order through this and then just say on PayPal, I bought Kratom. I've had it happen before and that's how I got terminated before. So Super Chat, I don't know. I spent too much time talking about that, but I don't know much about it. Frank Punk is dope. Who's Frank? Where's Frank? Is he up here? I'm gonna back up a little bit. I'm scrolling through the comments just so you know. When I'm staring over here, I'm trying to look at the comments. Hey brother. Hey bad dude. What's up? How y'all doing? I used to cheat all the time. Not proud of it, but yeah. Cheating. I didn't want to say anything when you asked before because cheating to me is just pathetic. Any man who cheats on his woman is pathetic as fuck. But that's not an insult to you. It's a way of saying anybody out there who's thinking about it, it's pathetic because you will regret it. It's not pathetic that we do bad things because other people are harmed as much as the way we feel in our hearts. Even if it's okay and we get away with something and nobody ever knows. It just seems like being honest is important and integrity is important. And to know I've never fucked around on my wife is really important to me. But when you're young, if you're very sexually active, everybody has their own situations. So I really try not to judge. Smoked DMT? Oh, come on. Yeah, bro. Let's do it. Actually, I've been hanging on to some for a while. The last time I smoked it was around the campfire when everybody was asleep. Saw a bunch of elves and aliens. I've smoked... I don't want to even say it because here I am posting this to the internet. But yeah, I consider myself extremely well versed in DMT. It's crazy shit. It's insane. Carpo sounds like a neurology teacher. No, fuck no. I don't know anything about the brain. What are you talking about, Andre? Neuroplasticity and, serotonin and acetylcholine and dopamine and, melatonin and dimethyltryptamine. They're all actually, dimethyltryptamine is produced by the brain. It's a neurochemical that our own brains produce, which is what they call an endogenous chemical. And if you ever heard the term called endorphins means endogenous morphine. That's all it means. It means that it's an endogenous natural morphine your brain produces. And, it gives you a good buzz. It's the runner's high. Throw loops. Yeah, most aren't ready for DMT. Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. The truth is, I don't think anybody's ready for DMT, my friend. I don't. I mean, it's just insane shit. I've talked with people who are serious psychonauts about this, and I've said I gain a lot more off mushrooms or LSD, but DMT doesn't gain me any knowledge, and I stand by that to this day. You don't really benefit the way that you do with other substances, in my opinion. It's the same way that when people talk about microdosing, I don't I just kind of walk away from the discussion because if it works for you, I believe in placebo effect. But I also believe that in order for psychedelics to work properly, you have to take a large enough dose to go twang, totally fuck your brain up, and you go through a period of just kind of withdrawal, hiding under the covers. Then you come out, you peek and you peek and you peek, and you're like, oh, and you start talking with your friends, and all of a sudden you just unleash and unload years worth of stress and anxiety. And if you do it often enough, it's not that way. But if you've never taken psychedelics, you might just have a complete life-changing experience where everything that has ever held you back is let go at one time. Like the people who told me that they felt the same way as I did about the election, where they got emotional during the speech from Biden, but they don't know why because they didn't think they had anything vested in it. Not to be political, but it was a weird feeling. It was like back to boring politics. And I thought, how stupid is that? But you can't deny how your subconscious feels. And it's the same way with psychedelics. Something happens with that and it like triggers this flow. The water works. You might just cry, cry, cry. When you take MDMA though, just like LSD or psilocybin, it's important to remember you might bond with whatever substance you take, but you also might bond with whatever music you hear, whatever person you're with. You know, you'll hear a song while you're tripping and you'll be like, I love that song forever. And I'll be honest, that's what happened when I heard the song I Love You by Billie Eilish, or Eilish. The song I Love You really relates to somebody we lost a year ago to an opioid overdose. And it was a really hard time for everybody, and it still was this year too. And that song was a song that was played while they were sending the candles out on a lake, and thinking about her. And so I heard somebody else play it for me with that in mind, and then it made me cry. And now when I hear it, it's just stuck in my mind. I became even that song, and there's another one called Ocean Eyes because I heard it around the same time. But the brutal honesty is I'd taken Molly or MDMA the night before, therefore, which is a few weeks ago. Therefore, the next day I was like, oh, I was bonded with that song. I can't help it. You can't help it. It's just how psychedelics work. Have you ever smoked changa? No, I have not. Linda says, I have a musical fan. My 30-year-old son can beatbox like a motherfucker. Hey, man, that's awesome. Beatboxing is sick, dude. That would be something I'd love to be able to do. What's up, Abby? What's up, Frank? What's up, Spooky? Zodiac signs, sun, moon signs? No, dude, no. I don't believe in that shit, but I am a Sagittarius. Unless you believe in the 13th sign, which in the case I'm actually a Scorpio because it moves all the signs back slightly by a few days. Anybody who knows astrology knows that there's a potential 13th sign. What is it? Starts with a C. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I have a full book of astrology and I've done all of my charts, and I resonate with the Sagittarius more than I would like to admit. But at the same time, I believe even if astrology defines somewhat who we are, I'm not really interested in it predicting my future, so I don't put much interest into it. Frank, NoFX, Frank says. Yeah, I love NoFX. Okay, you want to hear a story? I went to a NoFX concert, and it was one where they played The Decline, which is like one of my favorite songs. Like an 18-minute song, I think. And it's about the decline of the Western Empire and civilization, which is where we're at right now. That's what it's about, and I love that song. And after the song, they threw the pick out. Fat Mike tossed his pick out in the audience, right? And I was like 4 rows back from the front. It's on the floor. The pick like hit somewhere by us. Nobody could find it. We all parted and looked on the floor because it went into like a mid-set thing or something. Nobody could find it. And so whatever, we started rocking out again, whatever. I looked down, I had no shirt on. I just had my pants because I was sweating like crazy from dancing. And no effects. And I looked down, and stuck in my belt line, in between my pants, in my sweat, between the pants and my skin, was the bass guitar pick that Fat Mike flicked. It was just your standard thick, like Fat Gage turtle pick, that bass pick. And I drilled a little hole in it. And I just saw it today. It's up in my little, container. I play with it. I don't keep it as like, oh my God, it's Fat Mike's pick. It's just another guitar pick. I just play with it because I believe in my inspiration of having an item that was held by somebody that you're like, right on, you're a great musician. But even that said, Fat Mike is not a good bassist. So anyway, I love No Effects. Cheers, I'm drinking vodka. Yeah, I don't have any liquor. I kind of wish I did, but I'm actually just drinking my last Total Domination IPA because they were out of my Apocalypse IPA that I've been buying for the last 6 months. Because it's really fitting for the situation we're in right now. What's up, Carpo? Nice to see you. Nice to see you too. God, I can't believe there's 55 people watching this shit. That's nuts, man. Why do you all fucking get a life, you guys? Why are you watching my stupid shit? Go fucking be with your families and shit. Yeah, that's what my kids are probably thinking. Where's Dad? I seek the lucrative mushroom Tootsie Roll. Only find fish lots, damn it. Arrowwood is no help. Oh, you want the Tootsie Rolls? Oh man. Okay, so my friend made a bunch of those a while back, and he brought some over. For those who don't know, a Tootsie Roll is basically a psilocybin mushroom extract, and when you extract it down, it looks like kind of a black pulp. And they roll it up like a Tootsie Roll size, and they wrap it up in, like a Tootsie Roll like wrapper. They're great because you can take a little tiny slice, and it's like taking an eighth of mushrooms. The last ounce of mushrooms I just bought recently, I put in, well, a year ago, I put into honey. And so I'll take a pint of honey or a quart of honey. You can put an ounce of mushrooms in there in a jar, put it on your windowsill, and you just flip it every time you walk into the kitchen. Every time you see the jar, just flip it, flip it, flip it, and do that for like a month. And eventually it blends on its own. You can heat it up too, but when you put mushrooms in honey, they last forever. And I'm the kind of guy who doesn't take them very often, so. Sex Pistols. Yeah, totes. Would you ever consider a fathering with your subscribers? Oh, a fathering? Perhaps camping under the stars. What does that mean? What is a fathering? Oh, that sounded really weird, Phil. Sorry, man. You meant gathering, I'm guessing. Because, let's see, where's G? Is it next to F? Yeah, okay. A fathering. I'm picturing like fathering all of my subscribers under the stars. It's a great comment. Camping under the stars. I think that would be very, 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 very. Oh, okay, you confirm that later. Sorry, gathering. I think that would be very awkward for me because I don't honestly. I feel like if I were ever to say, "Hey, let's have a gathering of subscribers," I wouldn't have enough people, and those who are would be like, "Why do you think you're worthy of having people come to meet you and go camping?" I still have insecurities about who I am. I'm just a human being. I know I'm not famous. I have a few subscribers that watch me, even though I think it's funny. I've got people are like, you have 21,000 subscribers, but that's over 10 years. And when you know how YouTube works, it's basically, I really have like less than 1,000 subscribers that actually watch my channel for 10 years, which is great because I can actually converse with you guys. Can you imagine if I was like, had 1 million subscribers and I had this goddamn feed where I couldn't even respond? I mean, this is perfect for me because I'm able to respond to every one of your comments pretty much. So, yeah, it works for me. I took something called Canna, and it had quite an intense effect, but other times I take it, it doesn't really do much. Interesting. I sell Canna on my site, or I did. I have a bunch. I have different types, the thick cut, thin cut. I've smoked it. I've eaten it orally, taken it sublingually, taken it as a chew. Many different methods. Canna is amazing if you are stressed out. What I've found about most herbs and most drugs is that if you need it, do it and get over it. If you don't need it and you do it, you won't have the same effects. It's very strange. It's like, that's the only way I can explain it. Canna's weird like that. I don't know. What does it mean to be a man? Is that a real question? I guess I could answer that pretty quickly. It's very subjective. Being a man to me means you take care of whatever business you need to take care of with your family and you protect your loved ones. And You do your best to educate yourself on the world and understand other people. I don't know. It's complicated. I don't like MGTOW. I think it's lame. Whoa. This thing keeps falling down. Wow, that was crazy. I think my whole thing's falling down now. There we go. MGTOW is the men going their own way, which is kind of like the men's rights movement. And I'm not going to go there because it'll just piss off some men. YouTube takes a % of the super chat. That's what I've heard. Yes, they take a certain % of the money, and that's kind of lame because I don't want to get my money taken. Not my money, your money. If people are going to donate, it sucks that people take money away from it. Anxiety from weed. Any advice for an alcoholic? I'm trying to flip through these. Let me see how far we've gotten because I want to keep up. Okay, we've got a ways to go. We can do this. No, I don't have any advice for an alcoholic. I drink a little bit myself, but I don't drink too much. All I can say is limit how much you drink. When you get to that point where you're wondering if you should have another drink, don't. That's my advice. But I have one of my best friends has been an alcoholic for years, and I worry about him constantly. He might even be out there because I sent him a link to this. So if you are out there, bro, I love you, care about you, miss you. When you know somebody who drinks all the time, they aren't themselves. They forget who they are, and it's hard. Tobacco Row, hey buddy, I just got home from the ice rink with Ray. Oh my God, you are a dedicated fucking, I think that's your grandkid, right? You guys are dedicated ice rink people. That's fucking awesome. If I could go out and ice skate, I probably would. I love shrooms. Hopefully we'll be getting 2/8 tomorrow. Can't wait. Well, I hope you do. I hope you're lucky. Hella ping on Carpo's stream. What families, JK? What? Hella ping. I try to decode some of this stuff, but, it's getting late. I'm trying. Single and no kids. Well, enjoy it, brother. Enjoy it. No need to be insecure. Anyone be happy to meet you, Carpo. I've met a couple of my subscribers in public. It's really weird for me. I'm not a big fan of being put in a weird position with people. I don't ever want to be famous. Let me just put it this way. A lot of people on YouTube, their thing was like, I want to be famous, I want to get known. I would love to be successful. In other words, if I could make an income off of talking and doing what I like to do, I would be more than happy to do whatever I have to do to make that happen. But I honestly don't have the business mind to make that happen. I don't like ads. I don't like ad revenue. I feel awkward about companies, and I feel awkward asking for money. In other words, if I say, oh, thanks to my patrons, and then one person says on a comment section, oh, yeah, you're just trying to get money for Patreon, I'm like, oh, it makes me feel all weird because I'm a human being and I don't want to feel weird about it. I want to feel like I'm earning my money, right? So asking for money for just talking on YouTube doesn't sound very productive, and I don't feel like I've provided enough. If I were to do videos where I'd like edited a bunch of shit, and I'd be like, yeah, donate to my cause, but I'm just a stoner talking online, right? Tobacco says, a few of Carpo's subs my channels that YouTube terminated for trolling too many years on YouTube. What? I don't know what you mean, Tobacco Row. What? A few of Carpo's subs are my channels the YouTube channel terminated for trolling for too many years on YouTube. Have you ever had any more freaks knocking on your door lately? That's really weird. Why would you ask that? Because it's just the weirdest thing. When I was going through old podcasts, because I started uploading podcasts to like Spotify, and I found an older one, and it was one of me talking about when the Jehovah's Witnesses knocked on my door. And I thought it was fascinating because I thought I haven't thought about this in quite a while. But when they do knock, I really like talking with people about these things. I mean, I can put them in their place pretty quick if I want to. Whether it's Jehovah's Witnesses or Mormons, the Mormons will actually come into your house and hang out. Jehovah's Witnesses get a little more frustrated, but they're enjoyable. No, They haven't knocked in a while. They probably have me on a list now. This guy does not put up with our shit. How is smoking canna different than ingesting it? It just hits you quicker. Sometimes, what does it say? The idea of having everyone on YouTube forget me is slightly appealing too. Yeah, I mean, I the thing is about YouTube for me, if I stop making YouTube videos for, a few months, there wouldn't be anybody looking for me. It's not like people are like, what happened to Carpo? I mean, it's just a random channel, which is nice. It's beautiful. I would hate to be a guy who could never hide again, right? I mean, fame and fortune is complete bullshit. It's an illusion. I don't want any of that. All I want is maybe it's laziness to be able to want to make money by talking. And I say that because other people, like I educate myself. I'm constantly reading and learning. And then I think I want to share this with the world. And I think, well, maybe I could be like in the media. And I think, no, because that's all biased and bullshit. And I don't want to be one of those guys. And I think, well, because nobody will trust you. And I think, oh, I could be a fucking politician. People have told me that. I'm like, no, because nobody will trust me there either. It doesn't matter who you are. If you're a politician, you're part of the problem. So it's like, how do you make a difference in society and still make a living? I still haven't figured that out. I don't know. Rockin' Roberta, what's up, sister? How you doing? Haven't seen you in a while. I'm glad you made it. I think you meant the meth head. Hey, I've had my day with that shit. I don't ever want to even go back there. It's good to see you, Roberta, and I'm glad that you're here. I'm glad that you had a chance to stop by, and I'm glad that you're all here. I play with weed every day. I smoke every day. I try to drink a beer every day, though. Well, play with weed every day. I don't play with weed. I just smoke weed every day. I smoke a lot of weed every day. Way too much, probably. Humanzy says, Carpo, just start an independent podcast. If people like it, they share, listen, and you get to read. I did, brother. I have an independent podcast. I thought you guys knew that. I try to tell people, but it's really hard to get the information. I'm not very good at promoting myself. I have a hosting site which I pay like $15 a month or $18 a month for, just to have them host my thing, to distribute it to iTunes, to Google, to Spotify. The podcast is in the description usually. It's called 15-Minute Free Thinking. Not 15 minutes free thinking, 15-minute free thinking. And it has a green sign that I've always used, and that's as the main picture. And so you can go right to Spotify and just look that up with my name, Carpo or Joshua Orr, and it'll show you my podcast. And so, yeah, that's what I've been trying to do for a while here. I talk about whatever the fuck I want to on that. It's great. Let's see. Love the good herb every day. Yeah, me too. I'm smoking what I grew, homegrown right now. Those of us who appreciate you, we love you, man. Damn. Well, thank you. I appreciate you all too. Fortunately, I have no reason for being on YouTube beyond being a big show-off. Well, tobacco, neither do I. But I do like to share info, but I still feel awkward doing it. Oh, the meth head that showed up at my door, Roberta, thank you. I was like, what are you talking about, meth head? Where'd meth come up? I missed that one. Did I miss a comment? Nobody else has showed up. No more meth heads at my door. No. Haven't had any more of that. Thank God, freaks. I would imagine that could work. Psychoactive. What? I missed something there. I smoked enough in high school, broski. Yeah, I did too. I smoke a lot less than I used to. I smoke a couple bowls a day, and then in the evening I'll smoke one big bowl before I fall asleep, but I never finish it. I honestly probably smoke about 1.5 grams a day these days. Not much. My B didn't know you had a podcast. Seen your vids a while ago, which resonated intensely, and wish more people heard your thoughts. Well, thanks, bro. Brother or sister. It's humanity, so it's hard to know, but I won't guess you're a male or female. You're a human Z. Well, I appreciate that. I'm glad that people want to hear my thoughts, but it makes me feel weird. I've had more insults from people I love and respect, like family and shit, who basically demean my channel and say shit like, "Oh, I can't believe you just talked to a camera. You're just an idiot. You live in an echo chamber." That's kind of how I feel, the way that people I know talk about it. Not all the people I know, but people I respect. So I had to kind of get past that and say, you know what? You're just jealous as fuck because I talk to people and enjoy myself and I don't care. I'm not trying to gain anything. I'm not here to just make money. So I enjoy sharing wisdom and I consider it I've my Dunning-Kruger effect, my level. I've realized how little I know over the years. So 10 years ago, I thought I knew more than I know today. Let's just put it that way. It's been a long road. Carpo, experience with lemon tech. Are you talking about Kratom? I've heard all about it, but I haven't done it myself. Lousy show off? Connecting with your community. It is true. It's important. Connecting with your community is very important. Love from Scotland. Hey, Lorna. Hey, Lorna, are you still making those cool little fucking awesome, those little babies? She makes these things out of Fimo clay or, Sculpey type clay where you bake it. I love that stuff because I make beads myself and jewelry. And she makes these little characters, these little really awesome looking babies. I mean, I'm just shocked. I haven't seen them in a while, and I hope you're still making them. If anybody's looking for anything like that, she's definitely the one to talk to. Lorna makes some cool stuff. Hopefully, at least you got meth out of it. Yeah, right. Nice job on the grow this year. Thanks, Jeff. Even though nobody else has seen it. I got about 20 ounces out of one plant. Wasn't bad. What's your thought on disassociatives like ketamine? I've been hanging on to a gram of ketamine for 3 years and I still haven't tried it. I'm very, very reluctant. But I love nitrous oxide because it's controllable and it's short term. Nitrous combined with mushrooms to me is like, ugh, dude, it's crazy. I can't even go there right now. It's too much. Meth goes good with tin foil over your windows. Yeah, no shit. Yeah, that's the thing. Some drugs just fuck with your dopamine levels. It's just not worth it. Makes you all paranoid. How much kratom do you take now? I don't know. That's like asking, how big my shits are, right? I'd say I take about 5 grams, maybe 3 times a day. Something like that. Anyone critiquing your channel and saying it's an echo chamber is obviously trapped in one of their own. Well, thanks, Humanzy. I actually totally agree with that, and that's what I've told those people. The people who have said that are the ones who watch a lot of right-wing propaganda or whatnot. The kind of people who delete comments from their channel if they don't like the people. It takes a lot for me to mute somebody or ignore them altogether, but I always welcome alternative viewpoints. Just anybody who I don't take it personal. It's just sad when your own family and friends say that shit, but it is what it is. It's life. Thanks for interacting and answering my questions. You're welcome. Vitamin K can be good, fun to surf the K-hole. Yeah, I'm sure it is. I'm actually just reluctant because I didn't try it when I was younger, when I was kind of a super psychonaut. We tend to stay to the drugs we're most comfortable with. For me, that's LSD and mushrooms and MDMA. I just, I know what I know, but I'll probably end up trying some of that at one time or another. I watched the sunrise video. Did you? Which one? I have no idea. Who are you talking to? If it was me, I've done a lot of sunrises back in the day, but it's been a while. 4 more hours to go. To what? What am I missing here? What is the best kratom for sciatica pain and to sleep? Don't go buy kratom for brand names. Just try kratom until you find something you like. Doesn't matter if it's red, green, blue, yellow. Okay, here we go. I'm taking kratom. The Salvia 25X reminded me of huffing Pam. Oh God, that reminds me of huffing butane when I was a kid. Oh God. It's not an echo chamber because you have some very different perspectives than most modern liberals. Well, I'm not a liberal, my friend. It's really important not to define people as liberals or conservatives. I try not to. I am not a liberal. I am a human being that just looks at things rationally and tries to give my viewpoint. If I give a viewpoint that liberals share, I'm instantly a liberal. But if I give a viewpoint that CNN say talked about, I'm instantly a mass media follower. I guarantee you, I do not watch mass media, and I am not a liberal, and I'm not a conservative either. I'm very much independent. Yeah, Kratom has a bad reputation. Yes, it does. Kratom, DXM. Oh, what's your thoughts on crack? Come on, I smoked it once. It was fun. Nitrous oxide, the sound effect. Yeah. Been to a Burning Man gathering lately? Well, what do you mean, Justin? How would I have been to a Burning Man gathering lately? Not with COVID. I'm just being sarcastic. I was going to get tickets this year to Soak, which is my regional Burning Man. I've been going for 10 years. I missed it last year because the tickets are so exclusive and hard to get. I couldn't get any. The only way to get them was to bid, get them on Facebook, even though they'd be at cost. I refuse to reactivate my Facebook to get them because I hate Facebook that much. I haven't used Facebook in 2 years, and I refuse to get on there because it's just a cesspool. Don't ask me why I started Twitter, but I don't use that very often either. The thing about social media is no notifications. Be reasonable. I need to go to the restroom. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to take a bong hit, and then I'm going to go to the restroom, and I'll be back in a minute. And if y'all are here, then you're here, and if you're not, you're not. Maybe I'll play a song, or maybe not. We'll see. Okay. How many people did I lose? Oh, good. I only lost like 10 people in that few minutes. And that's actually good because you know they're all CIA agents. Every one of them. They're probably Illuminati. Yeah. Okay, where are we at? No, it's not an echo chamber. Where were we? Salvia. Okay. Mark Neff. I like Mark Neff. Hey, Mark Neff is a good, I just wanted to say you're a good subscriber. You comment, you leave some good stuff. I think you're one of the old schoolers, aren't you? You know, older than me, not to be offensive. Cultural appropriation thing and differences between men and women. Plus, you said the lockdowns are BS, so that all that's good. Well, yeah, I don't believe in lockdowns. It's really important, I think, for people to realize that. My wife and I were talking about this because even as liberal-leaning people, we both totally despise lockdowns and think it's bullshit. I supported lockdowns for a short period in areas where perhaps the cases were out of control. And at first, we didn't know what we were dealing with. And we all stepped back and said, oh shit, what do we do? Now, in other countries, socialized countries, they would just pay the people and say, stay home for a month and see what happens. We're seeing how that turned out. In some places, it worked well. I mean, they did a great job in New Zealand. I would love to live there. But they still have problems right now. I mean, there are some countries that are going back to being able to go out to concerts and shit. Here we can do that too, but, you know, I really don't want to get into the COVID discussion. But anyway, it's important that we realize that we could do better as a nation. Yeah, I don't want to put, I'm not for lockdowns now. Lemon tech, soaking up mushrooms into lemon juice. Okay, well, it hits much quicker. Pre-digest the psilocin. I'm sure that's possible. I don't really see why it would matter. For me, mushrooms are just, I never really care how quickly they hit me. I grind them up in a coffee grinder and then put them in honey or just take them in capsules. The reason why psychedelics take so long to hit, they just take longer to enter the cells. I guess LSD, no matter how you consume it, it always takes about an hour to really take effect. And that's just to start to really come up. But, yeah, I don't know. For me, it's just taking everything raw. I like to take it as raw as possible. Scared of salvia now? Yeah, you should be. Salvia sucks. When you forage for wild psychoactive mushrooms, what sort of thanks or spiritual connection do you practice with Mother Earth? I usually just talk to nature when I'm walking around. I don't give any, I don't believe in any seances or ceremonies or special like burnings and offerings because all of that's invented by mankind. In my mind, all I need to do is just have it in my heart and my intention. So what matters to me is going out in nature and having the intention. That's all. Nothing else. I don't know what I am anymore. You're a human being, I think, but you can use English, so must be you look like an Anglo-Saxon human being, according to your profile there. So you're a white guy. Thoughts on crack? Haha. Come on, somebody already asked that. Crack is fucking awesome, dude. I love cocaine. No, I'm kidding. Coke is like the worst drug out there. It doesn't last long enough. It just makes you feel like shit. There's this old joke, the Snowbud comic I have. The Snowbud and the Flower People is like a stoner band from Portland. And they had this comic book they put out. And it was like Snowbud. And there was a comic on the back that says cocaine is a drag. And it shows a dude. And it's like, cocaine will turn you into a pathetic, groveling, begging, pathetic, fiending, or desperate fiend. Stick to the bong, you can't go wrong. It shows him smoking a bong at the end. So don't do coke. You know, it's just hilarious. I mean, coke is the worst drug ever. It makes you paranoid as fuck. It makes you a complete moron. Doing cocaine is the dumbest drug. If you do cocaine, I guess, you know, it's like doing benzodiazepines, the exact opposite. You're just fucking yourself up and you're not going to get anywhere on it and you'll never be happy. Coke sucks. Fuck Coke. Fuck Coke and fuck meth. Where are we at? If you have a Twitter or something, we could DM and maybe talk one on one. Maybe, I don't know. It's hard. I don't have a lot of time. This is like a couple hours I have. Maybe. I mean, you can always email me and shit. Totally. I always answer emails when I have the moment. Parlor. I don't know anything about Parlor, and I don't use any other social medias right now. But let's see. Now I got to move down the list because it looks like somebody said talk about carpool while he's gone. So that means I'm like way behind on the list. I don't want to miss any comments. Fresh batch of mushrooms, nice. Mescaline. Oh, I love mescaline. It's been a long time. The last time I took mescaline, I should say, was at a Beastie Boys concert right before Fish at Bonnaroo in 2009. A friend of mine gave me some mescaline citrate. I took it to Tennessee, went down to Bonnaroo, had a blast. I tripped so fucking hard at that show and listened to Fish play Waiting in the Velvet Sea. Went back to my tent, fell asleep, woke up in the morning, the ground was still moving. That was a really intense psychedelic experience. Mescaline has legs, big time legs. Let me just say that. I think I gotta get my jar again. Hold on. It's right here. Little tiny jar. So, I've talked about LSD. I've talked about psilocybin. I've talked about DMT a little bit. Let me just say that DMT kind of brings out some really weird things in people. It really makes you think that you're communicating with an alien race. The question I've always asked people is, what are you going to take home from that? What are you going to do with that on Earth? This is the question that I always ask when people say they had an intense psychedelic experience and a revelation, and I say, how is that serving you? How are you benefiting from it? And a lot of people don't really have an answer for that. If I can't learn from an experience, then I kind of just don't see it as a benefit. And I've learned over the years that it's really crucial to analyze these things. What are your intentions when you go into a trip? What are you trying to gain from it? What are you trying to benefit? And not everybody does. Amanita muscaria, somebody asks. No. My buddy who just came over, we had an hour and a half long chat sitting out in the chairs out there, and I recorded the whole thing. I'm going to put it on a podcast recording, I think. We talked about amanitas, and I said I don't care for disassociatives because it's the kind of shit that, like, listen to Paul Stamets' story about dropping his car keys over and over and over. Some of these deliriants and disassociatives are just not my thing. I like psychedelics because I want to walk away from the experience not just being forgetful and not knowing who I am, but rather gaining something from it. I remember everything about a mushroom trip, right? A spider web on mushrooms? No. It depends on what kind of mushroom, but yes, some mushrooms. Hard to get mescaline. Yes, it is. You got to make it yourself. You just buy some cactus. You can order it online. It's easy. I know that sounds ridiculous. Just make your own mescaline, but really, if you want to, you can order the cactus. You can get the compound at any home improvement store and just make it. I'm not going to tell you how. You can look that tech up yourself. That's not my thing. First video I saw was you and Traveler talking about CBD. Been here a couple of years. Oh my fucking God. Are you serious? So for those who don't know, somebody just said, oh my God, we'll never be a cog in the system. That is such a trip, man. Traveler is a good friend of mine. He helped me with some harvests back in the day. He's the one who just left, who I was just talking with about politics and all this shit. Traveler is the one that I wanted to put in as a podcast partner. So I'm going to get his approval and upload that one. But that is just crazy because nobody's ever said anything about, nobody's ever used his name. Oh, Bud stuck to my sweater. It's just weird you would say that. That really trips me out. That has been, yeah. CBD is something that I have a lot of experience with. I have a lot of CBD cannabis that I still haven't processed, and I wanted to do something to help people with, but it's too hard to distribute. Long story. Coke and meth, yeah. Chocolate mescaline. I laughed all night. Yeah, that's the thing. You laugh all fucking night with mushrooms too. Ayahuasca is a great learning tool. Yes, it probably is. I just don't really have any interest in being nauseous when I can take mushrooms. It works for me. And I don't even take them that often. Traveler has a channel, right? No, I don't think he does. Or he did maybe at one time, but no, he was just a friend of mine. He's a truck driver. His name's Joel. I've known him for really, really weird enough. I recorded some songs the other day that I had found on some old cassette tapes, and one of these songs was called Heated Moss, and it's me and my friends with a keyboard and an old drum machine and a shitty cassette recorder saying, "We like smoking heated moss. We like smoking moss. We like smoking heated moss. We like smoking moss." And we just kept singing this. Come into my house and smoke this heated. With like three of us doing harmony about this song that we were making up on the spot. And I recorded it and I put it onto a digital format. And I was going to upload it to share because some of these things are just so absurd. You just got to save them. You know, recording shit when you're a kid is fucking awesome. Hey, Logic, what's up, bro? I'm a big fan of CBD. It gives me such a nice and calm feeling. Very present. Just worked for my brain. That's one of the things I just don't know about. CBD by itself has minor effects, but most CBD comes with other cannabinoids in it. Now, taking CBD isolate doesn't seem to do anything for people. Maybe very mild help. Taking CBD in... I have a strain of cannabis I grew called Harlequin Tsunami, which is like 14% CBD and less than 1% THC. So you can smoke it all day long and not even get a buzz. It's really weird. And I had a lot of it that I was processing and turning into food and capsules and stuff. I never finished the process, but it was really weird because, it can be calming for some people, but I start to wonder if that's placebo, and I don't know. I would have to say that CBD probably has some benefits for some people, but the price that they're charging on the market is way more than it ever should have been. Dun, 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 dun. Remember tomorrow is the thing. No, it's not, Frank. No, it's not. I smoke is less than 1% and it feels magical to me. Less than 1% CBD? Well, then it might be. If you're smoking a bud, then there's other alkaloids and cannabinoids in there. But most people who take CBD either take an extract or take a treat or a food of some type. There's a lot of CBD isolate out there that seems to work. Here's the thing. Let me just put it this way. The average CBD food, let's say you buy a CBD treat at the store. The standard at a legal store, it's about 5%. Let's just say, was it 5 to 10 milligrams? I think it's 5 milligrams is the limit for THC. CBD might have a higher threshold. Let's just say 10 milligrams, double it. I've made treats that were 1,000 milligrams CBD per treat and eaten like 3 of them. So say 300 times what a standard dose, 20 times 10, 200, 600 times the dose that they would give you at the store, and really just had no real feeling at all. Meaning that CBD by itself, it has certain benefits and a certain threshold to where it works for certain people. I've also drank a glass of water and felt great, and so that's why I just think that if you can get CBD for the right price and it works for you, great. But if you're paying high dollar for it, be careful. Be wary of where you're getting it from. Oh, 1% THC. Yeah, if there's a little bit of THC in it, it really helps. THC definitely boosts it. Vaping it helps a lot of people. Have you ever personally experienced the so-called wood lover's paralysis? Any valuable insights to share? Okay, I have a video, I put up about a year and a half ago, and it's called Mushroom Paralysis. It was talking about azurescens, which grow on the coast here, which actually my friend Traveler, which I was just talking about, who was just here, made this about, I don't know, 3 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago maybe. These were Azzies that we picked at the coast. And this is put in a bottle of absinthe that he made himself. And it's kind of a novelty. I don't intend on taking them. But we picked some. I had them stored away, and then our friends picked some. I took a gram of Azurescens, and I was just floored. 1 gram of Azurescens from the coast here. Floored. For those who don't know what we're talking about, wood lovers paralysis is like certain wood-loving mushrooms that grow on chips and whatnot. If you take too many, can make you not be able to move. People have literally been walking up staircases and just falling down and not being able to move. It's scary as shit, and you've got to be really careful. So yes, I do have a video about that, and you should check it out if you're curious, because it's a weird thing, a really, really weird thing. Vedic astrology is deep moon signs, Hindu deities, and different planets. I feel like you can examine living mythology in day-to-day life. And I guess it's possible. Topical CBD on my lower back. It seems to help a little. It might. As long as you're using some sort of a capsaicin base that allows it to penetrate. If it's not tingling, it's not working. It's very hard to penetrate the skin. I get more of a buzz from 18% CBD, 1% THC buds than from balanced strain with 6% of each. It depends on the person. I get a perfect buzz from what I've always... Okay, so I grew a couple strains, like I said, just CBD, 14% with like less than 1% THC. That was called Harlequin Tsunami, a cross. The other one I grew was called Blue Blood. That was 10% CBD. Wait, 10% THC and 6% CBD, I believe. It was a high CBD shit. Anyway, I grew some of it and I bred it with another strain. I got my own seeds from it and I grew it, and I believe that's what this is right here. A strain of Blue Blood. If you smoke a strain that has less THC in it, you're actually going to be better off. Less THC makes room for other cannabinoids. And that's important because high THC strains make me paranoid and feel awkward. So all that work that people put towards the sativas and the high THC strains, I'm like, no thank you, I'll just take this 12% stuff. And for you old schoolers, I'm using a silicone bong here because otherwise I'll break it. But I'm using the old school metal bowl. Gotta love that. Can't go wrong with it. It won't break. The only part is glasses here, you know, and I could just smash this thing, bend it, and crush it. These things are... they kind of shoot water out, I guess, if you flip it like that, but that's perfect. Now it's clean. Astrology. Yeah, I honestly, like I said, I've done my charts, I've done my numbers, my moon and my planets and all that stuff. And I find it interesting, but my question about astrology is always the same. Why do I want to know where I'm going to go, or where I'm coming from, or I guess it's, I have no interest, like kind of like with going to psychics, like astrology just scares me away because I have no interest. I just want to take the mystery as it comes, if that makes sense. ASMR, huh? Hello, welcome to the ASMR Carpo Evening Chat. ASMR is pretty fascinating. It really is. Okay. Vaping, CBT. Done much MDA carp? Yeah, I have, but I like MDMA better. Are there Liberty caps in your area? Yes, they grow on the coast. but I haven't ever picked. Well, my friend picked a shitload, but they're not my favorites. I like Azzies. I like mostly just like Cubensis because they're easier to control. But yeah, Azzies can do some hardcore damage. I took a gram and even 1 gram can of really bone dry Azzies. They were strong as shit. We went picking them ourselves, and like I said, got this in synth too. If I drank this, these are all Azzies right here. If I drank this, I'd probably just be like, "Hello, YouTube." No, wouldn't be a good thing. Do you need your medical card to grow in Washington? Yes, you do actually these days because they don't allow your own grows. But in Oregon, next door, you can grow 3 plants for each person. Bong water, stinky, stinky. Yeah, you guys, it is stinky, and I spilled it on part of my keyboard. But I'm gonna hope for the best. It should be fine. Carpo, I grew in the past, but fucked up each time. Couldn't get the nutrients right. Is there a magical recipe for nutrients? Actually, yeah. Follow a tomato plant recipe. You'll be fine. Just do what you do for tomatoes. ASMR. It's 2:06 a.m. where I'm at. Okay, well, where are you at? I'm guessing it's probably about 10:06 here. Maybe 11:06? It must be 11:06. You're probably on the East Coast. That means it's kind of late. Yep, 11:06. All right. Well, Roberta, yeah, it's funny, actually. It's funny. How about me and Roberta get together and we do a dual ASMR video for y'all? You, it'll be a Patreon special. You give us each $100 a month, and we get this very special treatment. It's only for the rich people. All about those. I used to love graphics bongs. Then when I got into the late '90s, there was Jerome Baker. He was like this glass blower that everybody wanted a Jerome Baker bong, and I think I still have one around. Got a couple up on the shelf actually. Oh yeah, dude, that sounds really good. I went to go to the bathroom. I was telling my kid, I'm like, "Fuck, man, I got people out there waiting for me to come back. I'm hungry. I want to make some food. I'm gonna have to leave in a little while." Um, we're pH right before worrying about nutrients. Yeah, I don't even worry about pH at all, Tobacco Row. I used to measure pH on stuff, and I just don't care anymore. I just go by my vibe. I guess it's because I grew for so long. I just kind of look at the plant and say, it's overwatered, it's underwatered, it needs more of this or that, but it's not that big of a deal. Most people over fertilize and overwater all their plants. If you've got house plants, let them dry out first. Because people are like, I can't grow house plants and I can't grow weed. It's like, water it. If it slowly starts to wilt a little bit, you'll know, and you can, it's fine, it picks up quick. But if you overwater it, you fucked it up. It'll mold. So that's my advice. I want to slang some eggs. Dude, Andre, why you gotta do that to me, man? I'm hungry. I want to do that too. I think I'm gonna go in and make me an omelet. Slang eggs? What do you mean? Hey man, he wants to make some eggs, man. Sounds good to me. Homemade soup? What's up with y'all? Now you guys are all talking about food? Come on. You can make me leave. That's alright. I guess I could always take my phone in the kitchen and do this, and we could cook together too, but then I'd probably get interrupted by my crazy kids. Go eat, bro. Nothing is legal in my state. Well, you all need to move out of your state, man. No, I'm just kidding, of course. You can't move out of your state. Hydroponics is an easy way to grow. Oh, Mark, I love you, brother, but no, it's not. I mean, not for a first timer. If you're going to grow weed, definitely grow. I mean, it's a convenient way to grow because once you get the nutrients right, it's fine. If you over fertilize once with those liquid nutrients, you kill everything. Um, if your water level drops once, you kill everything. Soil is much more forgiving for a first timer using like cocoa noir or some of the cocoa soil to help absorb and keep moisture. That's my opinion, anyway. I did that earlier. It's intense as fuck. It's way too intense. Good night. You have a great night too, Goalie. I hope you have a great night. Salvia is a trip and uncomfortable. Yep, exactly. Yeah. Well, it's been real, y'all. And yeah, hit the like button. And don't forget to smash that like button for Carpo. I've never said that. It's really funny. It's such a weird thing when people are like, hit the like button and hit the icon. What I like to say is, hit the like button, but don't hit the bell icon ever on my channel. It's one of those things that means you basically get notifications. I've turned my notifications off on all of my social media apps, and it's been great for it. I quit, using Facebook a long fucking time ago, so I feel better for it. And I did sign up for Twitter a while back, but it's a guilty pleasure just so I could bitch about some of my gripes. But I'm gonna cancel that too. But YouTube's my thing, so thanks to everybody. I really appreciate everybody who comes and visits, and y'all have a good night. I'll talk to you soon. Peace and love. Be well.